All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome aboard. My name is Todd Botker, and I'm the Oracle Technical Product Manager for two of our database cloud services, Exadata Express and Schema service. I'm delighted to be with you today. I bring you greetings from Oracle's offices in sunny Salt Lake City, Utah. So welcome aboard from wherever in the world you are dialing in from. So this is PM Office Hours, and I'll do a quick intro in agenda and so forth, and then the majority of the time is yours, is for Q&A. If you have questions or things you'd like to talk about related to these services, this is a great opportunity to interact directly with the PM. I see we have one of our development managers on the line as well. Welcome aboard, Vlad. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I've got my little chat box up too. I would encourage you, if you have questions, to just say them over audio. We can hear your voice. If you're having audio issues, though, feel free to say questions over chat, and I'll just keep this box open over in the corner. I guess first question is, can everyone hear me okay? Can someone give me a shout out just to indicate the audio is coming through all right?
Yes, Todd.
Yes? Okay, terrific. All right, well, let's jump right in. First, I have to show the safe harbor slide. This is because we do get into roadmap in these discussions periodically. So this is standard safe harbor that our legal team requires we show whenever we talk about roadmap discussions and so forth. Okay, agenda for today, we'll do a couple of housekeeping items. I'm going to remind you of some events coming up, point you to some sites where you can get more information. And then we'll have a short presentation, I think no more than 10 minutes for the structured presentation part of this. This is another topic that comes up quite frequently where folks are asking us to compare and contrast our services to other services that are out there. And the first question is, well, how do these two compare against one another? What are the differences between these two? So I thought that would be a good topic to cover. I've got just 2 slides in this regard, and by the time we're done with that, I think you'll have a pretty good handle on what's different between these two services. And then the rest of the time is yours, plenty of time for question and answer. If you don't have questions, happy to wrap it up and give you some time back as well. This session is being recorded, and we post these recordings on Oracle DevGym, Oracle AskTOM, for others to go back and review at a later time. Okay, just by way of housekeeping, we have a great playlist on YouTube with 13 or 14 videos now. Each video is less than 5 minutes, and it walks you through how to use Exadata Express in particular. So you watch all of them, and I think it would take you less than a half hour. And by the time you're done watching this playlist, you'll pretty much be an expert on Exadata Express. It covers a lot of key points, from provisioning and setting up your instance initially, loading data into it, using Apex to develop apps rapidly on top of Exadata Express, connecting from clients and developing Java-based applications, .NET-based applications, Node.js-based applications. We have some documentation about that. But we cover a lot of ground in this playlist in particular. So take a look at that if you have when you have a half an hour free. By the time you're done, you'll be pretty up to speed on Exadata Express. Follow us on Twitter. I put my and Vlad's Twitter handles there. We do tweet periodically, so take a look at that. And then we have our Kscope event coming up in June in Orlando, where you'll get to meet folks on our team in person. If you're not already registered, go take a look. I put the URL here. Go take a look. Consider registering. It's a great event put on by one of our large Oracle user groups. There is a lot of emphasis on Apex and app development on Oracle database, but also other things as well. And some mention of our cloud services that support this, including Exadata Express. So anyway, it's a great conference. Go take a look at that. That's pretty much it for housekeeping. And now I'm going to bridge into our short presentation for today's session, session number 4. We'll compare Exadata Express and Schema service. You move the chat box here, that may be covering up. Okay, so I've got 2 tables here that compare and contrast the two. On the left column, we have Exadata Express, and on the right column, we have Schema service. And the way Exadata Express is positioned in general, this is one general comment, it is really the successor, the long-term successor to Schema service. So Schema service has been around for a while, many years now. It was Oracle's original foray. It was Oracle's original service in PaaS and database PaaS, going back 4 or 5 years ago now. So Schema service has been around for a while. We have a lot of customers on it, a lot of very happy customers. But given that it's been around for a while, we figured out ways that we can do more, that we can bring more and freshen it up a little bit and provide more capability at a similar, in fact, in many cases, lower price point. So that's what Exadata Express is. Now, as we're in this transition, we are not intending to cut off any existing Schema service customers, right? We have a lot of customers running Schema service. We're not intending to, deprecate it on them anytime real soon. But we are in this process, probably a multi-year process now, where we're making this transition. And in terms of availability, Schema service is now effectively closed off to new customers. So if you're an existing Schema service customer, you can renew or even expand your footprint by purchasing new instances, but you have to be an existing Schema service customer. So it's effectively closed off to new customers. Exadata Express is open to any new or existing customers. So if you're brand new, you've never used either of these services, we would direct you to Exadata Express. In terms of the payment plan and paying for it, Schema service is on Oracle's original payment plan, Oracle's original world, which is essentially a monthly subscription where we're not metering it by the hour. You pay a flat monthly price for use. Exadata Express is on the new world where, and we went through this last time. We have an office hours session just on packaging, pricing, and shapes. So I won't go into too much detail here. Take a look at one of the previous recordings. But Exadata Express is on the new world where you purchase it via universal credits. You're buying credits that can be applied to one of any Oracle Cloud, any Oracle Cloud services, any of our PaaS or IaaS services. The way I think about it is you're buying like gift cards. You're buying credits on a gift card, and then you can spend that on Exadata Express, or you can spend it on storage cloud service or compute cloud service or any number of other things. And these are nice credits. It's a nice way to do things. It's very durable. Our customers don't necessarily know what all they want in advance. They're kind of feeling things out, so it would be typical to purchase credits. And that gives you the flexibility to figure out exactly what you want and how much you want of each service over some period of time. You don't necessarily have to have that all figured out up front. It also gives you some insulation, I guess I should say, about regarding things that are to come in the future. We're investing heavily in cloud, and we're always adding new services and expanding existing services. And these credits are durable. You can apply them to things that are on the roadmap that are not even out yet, when they come out. Or things that you don't necessarily even know about that are coming out. So the credits remain in place, and then you can spend them in the future as new things pop up that are of interest. In terms of the actual pricing, again, I'm not going to go into too much detail here. For Exadata Express, it starts at about $175 a month, and we have much larger shapes available in Exadata Express, much larger than Schema service. So it does scale up to about $6,000 a month for really big shapes, multiple cores, many gigs of RAM, a terabyte of storage. So it scales up to a higher price, but also much larger shapes. And then what I'm showing you here for the Exadata Express pricing is a monthly estimate based on 744 hours in a month, in a 31-day month. So it actually, as indicated by Universal Credits, is actually billed by the hour you use it. So if you turn it off, you're not billed for those hours. But if you have it on for the full month, this is roughly what the prices would be for Exadata Express, depending on what shape you purchase. For Schema service, it starts at $175 per month and goes up to about $2,000 per month for the largest shape. The largest shape in Schema service world is actually much smaller than the largest shape in Exadata Express world. So it caps out at 50 gigs of storage, and the largest shape is about $2,000 per month. So in terms of pricing, on average, you're going to get actually a much better deal with Exadata Express. The larger shapes are much less expensive, and for analogous things in Schema service, and you get more in terms of resources. Free trials, we do support free trials. In the free credits world, Universal Credits world with Exadata Express, that is done by signing up for our $300 free credits promotion. And then you can spend as much or as little of those $300 on Exadata Express instances as you want. That's how you would sign up for a free trial. In terms of resources that you get with these different services, again, you get much more with Exadata Express. You get a dedicated containerized Oracle database. And the containerization technology we're using is something called Oracle Multi-Tenant. That gives you what's called a pluggable database. It's a fully containerized Oracle database. It's Oracle Database 12c Release 2. It's our Enterprise Edition, plus many of the relevant options included at no extra cost, all as part of the base price. So you get Enterprise Edition, plus options, 12c Release 2, running in a containerized database. And again, that's using multi-tenant, which is a containerization technology finely tuned for Oracle database. It works really well for Oracle databases, whereas some of the other general purpose containerization, Docker and LXC and some other containerization technologies, they're great for general purpose, but they're not necessarily tuned for database use cases. On the Schema service side, you get a dedicated database schema. So you get one schema. It's running Oracle Database 11G Release 2. So it is a full generation behind now. It's 11G Release 2 versus 12C Release 2 for Exadata Express. And it's one schema, whereas with Exadata Express, you're getting a full containerized database. You can create as many schemas as you like in that. They are both running Enterprise Edition. However, Schema service, you don't necessarily get all the same options, EE options that you get with Exadata Express. And then at the bottom here, you can see they're both running natively, directly on bare metal Exadata. So they're running on Oracle Exadata engineered systems, bare metal. There's no VM hypervisor layer in here. And they're running on our X5 2 generation of Exadata engineered systems. So, and they're with max memory configuration. They're pretty beefy environments. So that's nice. You're getting the raw power of one of these Exadata engineered systems. And if you know a little bit about Exadata, you know what that means. That might perhaps be another good session now that I think about it. We could tell you a little bit more about what's under the hood in Exadata running in our cloud. But a lot to like there in terms of high availability, the high HA configuration, reliability, scalability. You get advanced compression, Exadata hybrid columnar compression, a lot of nice things just from running on Exadata. Okay, so let's go to the rest of this table. So what do you get in terms of the actual storage size? And I tried to lay that out as succinctly as possible. With Exadata Express, these are the different shapes that are available with Exadata Express, and they're all-inclusive shapes. They include the storage, the CPU, the memory, the Oracle support. You get a support number, fully supported by Oracle. You can go into the support portal. All is part of one price, all is part of the base package. And you can see the storage here on the left with the X20 shape, it's 20 gigs. X250, it's 250 gigs of extra storage. 500 gigs of extra storage. And then our X1000 and X1000 IM shapes give you a full terabyte of extra storage. That's uncompressed too, by the way. If you use one of the included compression technologies, you could actually fit much more data than is reflected here in the raw storage numbers. So this is the shapes. It starts at 20 and goes up to a terabyte on the Exadata Express side. On the Schema service side, it's similar approach, all-inclusive shapes. It starts at 5 gig and goes up to 50 gig. The CPU resource with Exadata Express, you're getting physical Exadata cores, not virtual cores or threads of virtual cores or some such thing. You're getting full physical cores running natively on bare metal Exadata. So a lot of horsepower. And on the Exadata Express side, you can consume up to 4 cores, depending on which shape you get, or up to 1 core on the smaller shapes. So it's up to 1 for 20 and 250. It's 2 for X500 and 4 cores for the X1000 and X1000 IM. On the Schema service side, it's all shared CPU that's time sliced across various tenants. In terms of memory resource in Exadata Express, you get from 7.5 gig up to 40 gig of memory. It's split between PGA and SGA. And again, I would refer you to the previous session where we went through all this in detail, but you can kind of see the split, how much goes to PGA and how much goes to SGA memory. If you buy the IM shape, X1000 IM, you also get Oracle in-memory column store included. So you get lightning fast analytics running on IMC, and you also get some dedicated memory for IMC. So between 7.5 and 40 gigs for Exadata Express. And Schema service, it's shared RAM. It's time, or it's sliced across tenants and balanced across tenants. In terms of connectivity with Exadata Express, you get full SQLNet or Oracle Net Services support. So you can connect from any number of clients. And Oracle has a whole ecosystem of native and third-party clients that connect to Oracle database. Language drivers for all the popular programming languages that connect over SQLNet. Tools, utilities, free IDEs that come at no extra cost and connect to your cloud database over SQLNet. All that's included, no extra cost. You also get Apex Application Express, which allows you to rapidly build web apps on top of your database that look great on both desktop and mobile browsers. It's a full browser-based development environment, declarative environment for standing up applications on Oracle database very quickly. You get that included, and you get the REST access. You can very easily define REST endpoints that you can call from virtually anything these days and get access to your data over REST. So a lot of different ways to connect to your Exadata Express cloud database. On the Schema service side, it's basically Apex and REST. If you happen to be a customer of Oracle Cloud Java SX, which is a separate cloud service, you're also able to connect from that service. So Schema service is a little more limited connectivity options, Apex, REST, and if you are a Java SX customer, you can connect from that as well. In terms of integration, bundling, compatibility, Exadata Express is integrated and tested with a bunch of things. We actually do bundle a free instance of Oracle Developer Cloud Service with Exadata Express, and that's very nice. It allows you to script and automate instances of Exadata Express across their whole life cycle as they go from development to test to staging to prod. A Developer Cloud Service allows you to automate pushing across those different environments and pulling your source, whether it's Apex source, it's PL SQL source, it's SQL code. You can manage that in a Git repo, all integrated in Developer Cloud Service and tested and integrated with Exadata Express as well. So a nice value add there. On the schema service side, it is integrated with a bunch of things. It is the storage for several of our other SaaS and PaaS offerings. It's embedded, and it is the storage service for some of Oracle's other offerings. So, and that's just by virtue of the fact that it's been around so long. It was our original service. This is our original PaaS service. As we launched things in ensuing years, many of our services uptook schema service and use it as the storage behind the scenes. So it is bundled with and integrated into many of our services, perhaps a slightly longer list than Exadata Express, just by virtue of the fact that it's been around longer. And it is available, both of these are available standalone. Again, for schema service, only for existing customers who are looking to renew or expand. New customers cannot purchase schema service standalone as we slowly transition to Exadata Express. And then lastly, in terms of regional availability throughout the world, Exadata Express instances are provisioned and hosted in North America and continental Europe. So you can get them, depending on where you are in the world, you can select, you can get them in North America or Europe. Schema service, which has been around longer, is in more of our data centers. You can get instances running in North America, Europe, the UK specifically, and also APAC, APAC running in Sydney, Australia. So a few more options there in terms of regional availability. And that's pretty much it. That's all I could think of anyway. These are all the key points that you can use to compare and contrast the two services. I'll back up one slide. It's basically all right here in this table. This is being recorded, so you can go back to it and take a look if any questions. So hopefully that was helpful, give you a little better understanding of how they're different, kind of where we've been in the past with schema service and where we're going in the future with Exadata Express. And with that, I'm going to just stop talking here and throw it open for question and answer. We'd love to field any questions, comments, discussion topics, criticisms, whatever. We love feedback. So anything that's on your mind. I'm going to just kind of open it up here, get my chat box open, and drop down the attendee list. So we got a couple people online. Ollie or Gigi Peng, any questions we can help you with?
Yeah, Ali here. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you great.
Okay. So my first, I have two queries. One is if I have a HR application, right, which is developed in Oracle FX, and it's running currently on my local server. So if I want to migrate that to this Exadata service, I will be requiring this service, or is there any other service that I'll be needing to make my application run fully? Because I'm using Jasper reports also for reporting purposes, for formatted reporting. So how would that, what services would I be needing besides the Exadata service?
Yeah, you have a couple options. May I ask, where are you pulling the reporting data from? Where is that coming from?
It's from the Oracle database.
It's from Oracle data. It's servicing other Oracle apps or SaaS apps?
No, it's only for the HR application.
Okay, so it's a custom HR app. Yes. All the data is managed entirely in the underlying Oracle database.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so Apex is, if you're running Apex on-prem right now, Apex is actually available in a number of our cloud services. We're talking about two of them here. We have other cloud services available, such as our full instance running in VM. We call it Database Cloud Service. We have an Exadata Cloud Service, not Exadata Express, which is Exadata Cloud Service. And you can get Apex running in any number of these things. In Exadata Express, Apex is pre-configured and ready to go out of the box. So it's just there and very easy to uptake and use in Exadata Express. In some of these other services, there might be some configuration that you have to do to tweak it and make sure you've got it running just how you want it. In Exadata Express, this is a fully managed service, so we've done everything we can to pre-configure it and make it easy to use out of the box. Now, in terms of getting your app and your data moving it from one place to another, from your on-premise Oracle database to your cloud database, I guess in this case, I would, well, how much data are we talking about? Can you give me a sense of the sizing?
It's around about, because it's right now it's just not been populated that much. It is around 500 MB to 1 GB.
Oh,
1
okay.
GB, yeah.
In that sort of range, I would say probably there's a number of ways you could move it. I would say probably your best bet is to just use Apex's native export capability.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wizard built into Apex.
Yes.
Click, click, click. There's a couple clicks. You can export the app itself, all the app metadata, app definition, and the database data that goes along with it, and take the export and then import it into your cloud database. You probably you should check the versions. What version of Apex are you running?
12C. It's 5.1.
5.1. Okay. Do you know what ... Is it 5.11, 5.13, 5.14?
The last one, the latest one, whichever. I don't
5.14. Okay. So Exadata Express, we try and keep Exadata Express very current on Apex too. It's on 5.14.
Okay.
I think especially if you have an exact version match, probably the easiest way to do this would just be to use the native Apex export capability, and then bring it over to your cloud database and run the import wizard and bring it into your cloud database. Larger data, there's other ways to do it. Exadata Express supports SQL Loader direct path load. That's a good and fairly fast way to load larger data sets, into your cloud database over the internet. We've had customers who've done that with like multi-gig data sets, and that sounds a little scary, right? Loading multi-gigs over the internet. But I was just talking with one customer recently who was doing this, and he used SQL Loader direct path load from his home office, using his Comcast internet connection, and it was I think it was 22 gigs, something like that. He said it took about 4 hours to load 22 gigs. So not too bad loading stuff over the internet. But just a smaller data set that's in the MB range, I would say probably just use the Apex export import to do that. Hey, since we have Vlad on, Vlad's one of our engineering managers. Let me give Vlad an opportunity to comment on that. Vlad, what do you think?
Well, I think one of the questions was whether there's anything else needed to support Jasper reports, I think you said.
Yes, that was another query.
So with Exadata Express, you don't have the ability to deploy something like that. For that, you will need a different solution, right? And there are different options. If you really want Jasper reports, then you would have to get another cloud service where you can deploy that. Whether that other PaaS service is just the compute, which is a VM, where you can deploy anything you want, you have full control over it, and then you can connect to it from Exadata Express. Another option maybe is to get a Java cloud service, which specifically is tailored to running Java applications, and deploy your Jasper report solution there, and then again, Exadata Express will connect to it. An alternative would be also to potentially use a cloud-based reporting solution. I'm not sure if Jasper Reports offers anything like that, where you submit a request over a web service to generate the report and you receive the data. All of that happens behind the scenes, and then you push it out to the user of your application. I know that other solutions, such as Apex Office Print, for example, I'm not sure if you heard about that.
Yes.
They have the cloud service, which was actually certified by that company to work with Exadata Express. So you subscribe to their cloud service, and then that gives you the ability to generate PDFs and other type of media from Apex easily. So that may be another solution that you can consider. But out of the box, Exadata Express is just a database service. It will not have this built-in reporting capability.
For the Jasper, okay. And can I connect to it using Oracle SQL Developer? Can I connect to the database?
You
like
certainly
I do
can.
right now?
You certainly can, yes.
Okay, good. So, okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Vlad, for chiming in there. I didn't catch the Jasper reports angle. So to summarize, what you're saying is you'd need, in addition to Exadata Express, your cloud database, you would also need some sort of middle tier to install and run and host Jasper in the cloud. And that could be just a regular compute VM into which you install a J2EE app server plus Jasper. Or it could be something like Oracle's Java Cloud Service, where you could install and set up Jasper on that. Or alternatively, you could go with the Apex Office print functionality to get your PDFs in place of Jasper. And we have third parties that are integrated and certified with Exadata Express for that sort of thing. Vlad, did I get that about right?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, that's exactly right. One other thing that maybe we should mention is also, of course, Exadata Express is just one of the database cloud services that the Oracle offers. Another option, I think Todd mentioned this before, is just the database service, which is unmanaged, so it's managed by the customer. But what that also means that you have control over the VM where the database is actually running. So it comes with Apex, of course. Apex is pre-configured, and you can use it. And you can deploy your applications there. But because you also have access to the VM, you can also use that same VM to deploy your Jasper report solution as well. So the price point on that would be different from Exadata Express, but at the same time, potentially, you can co-locate your Jasper report solution or engine in the same VM where the database is running.
Yeah, because I'll be needing Apache for that. I'm using Apache right now for Jasper reports for hosting. So that's my scenario. So I can move the database and Apex and everything, but Jasper, as you said, I'll be needing the VM service probably to set up the Apache and Jasper reports. That's what I understand.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Todd.
And to be clear, the other services we're talking about, there are separate PM office hours specifically for those services as well. I can refer you to the right person if that is of interest. The full instance running in VM, which is just our base database cloud service that Vlad mentioned, it is on average a bit more expensive. Exadata Express is the entry-level pricing, right? The full instance running in VM, you're probably going to pay a little more, but it does give you that flexibility where you have access to the VM host, and you can run other things in that if you want. Does that make sense?
Yes, true. Now I have the picture now for how to deploy my solution if I want.
All right, I'm going to call it a day. I appreciate your time and hope to see you at our next PM Office Hours session. Thank you.